If you're about to head in for your first day of prac, this video is definitely for you. Hi everyone, welcome to Talk and Chalk. This is my video series for pre-service teachers, prac teachers, student teachers, uni students, whatever you want to call yourselves. Teachers in training, I guess. Today's topic is going to be the first day of prac. If you haven't seen my other two videos on this, the first one is just about me and my pracs, and then the second one is about just preparing before you go into prac. Today I'm just going to cover just the first day, what you can expect, things that you should be expected to do, just some tips for getting through the day, feedback, I guess, based on my experiences and my experiences as a mentor and what I think you can take away from the day. And I've also got some links to share with you guys that I think will be beneficial. Main links though, obviously, are all of mine if you want to follow this in the description below. That's why I'm randomly pointing like this. You just open it up and then you can see my links to Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and my Instagram. I'm trying to remember what else is on there. Sometimes I just share random stuff, but it's all educational content. I don't spam. I'm not selling anything or anything like that. It's just me sharing my tips and bits of advice. So I think I've got my trusty notebook here with all of my notes and different ideas that I've got, and there's lots of random ones that go around the first day. So I think what I'll do is I'll try and keep it sequential. I'll go through what the order of the day I think could possibly be, what you could do, and then I'll share some of the other information that I've got. So in the morning, hopefully you've prepped yourself, you're dressed professionally, you're ready to go, you've got your hat, your sunnies, notebooks, information from the university like your practicum handbook or the mentor guide printed, ready to go just in case the mentor hasn't got a copy or in case they need it for whatever reason. And you are turning up preferably early. Some schools have different times to start, so I'm assuming generally most of you will be expected to turn up at 8:30 in the morning. I think 8:25 is a good time to turn up. Aim for a little bit earlier. If it means you're sitting in your car for 10 minutes playing on your phone, at least you've turned up, you're on time, you're not stuck, and you make a good impression by being there at the right time. Now, some school car parks don't have room for extra people to come in and park, and some school car parks even have allocated spaces so that everyone knows where their spot is, there's no arguments, everyone gets a spot. So best bet is to probably park on the street for the first day. You know, obviously scope it out beforehand, look at Google Maps, whatever you use, and just park outside and find your way in, and then you can ask if you're allowed to park in the staff car park if there is a particular spot or whatever. Some schools have really minimal parking, so it's not a good look if you're going in on the first day and then taking a teacher's car space, especially if that teacher is rocking up to school with, you know, 30 odd books that they've spent the night covering or something like that, and then they've got to lug it in because they've got to park on the street. So suck it up, park on the street for the first day. When you go in, you need to report to the office. Some may ask you to sign in a visitor's book or at least a prac sign-on sheet, which you should have. You might be asked to you might be asked to wear a visitor's badge, might not, and you might be given a WH&S leaflet just for evacuation or anything like that. Sometimes it has a map. They may not give it to you. It could be part of an induction later that you'll have. You need to seek out your teacher at this point. So you need to ask for where your teacher is, and one of a few things. They'll either escort you to the classroom where you're going to be, they might call for that teacher to come up and meet you, or they might be already in the office for you to meet. So once you've met with them, chances are they'll want to take you to the classroom. You might need to hang around for a minute till they get something done. So go down to the classroom, pay attention to the way that you're going when you go to the classroom, because they won't have time necessarily to show you everywhere in the school in those first 30 minutes. And when you get down there, see if there's a spot that you can put your bag to be kept safe for the day, because if there's not, you might need to go find a spot up in the staff room. Most schools have a safe, lockable cupboard. Most times I just usually let my prackies leave their bags in my storeroom for the day. That's where I leave mine. And then switch your phone to silent for the day. So I understand many of you might have kids or partners that might need to contact you. You might be a carer or something like that and you need to have your phone near you. That's fine. Let the mentor teacher know that that's the situation, but put it on vibrate or silent so at least it's not going to interrupt the day. And just be very clear with your mentor teacher. We all have circumstances that we need to be aware of. And it's not a problem if you need to have your phone, just make sure it's on silent. They may show you around and just give you a rundown of what the day will look like, but pretty much by the time you've done all of this, it'll probably be time for the day to start. So they'll take you to the class lines. They might be outside the classroom, they might be in like assembly lines somewhere, and this is where it all starts for you. This is the first impression you're going to make, because parents will most likely be there. The kids are going to be meeting you for the first time, and this is the first chance that your mentor teacher is actually going to see you interacting with children. Teacher face on straight away. You are not there to be their friend. You can be friendly, but you are not their friend. You are their teacher from this moment. Yes, you're a prac teacher. Yes, you're a student. This is the moment you start being a teacher. Embrace it. So when the kids meet you, chances are the teacher has told them that you will be coming for prac and that you are learning to be a teacher. There aren't many schools that I'm aware of now that use first name basis. You know, it could be Miss Rebecca for me, but I stick with Mrs. West. And this is the moment you should start using that. If you've got an exceptionally long and difficult to pronounce last name, you might choose to go with the first initial. West isn't hard to say. I usually get best in the West. Yes, and I will run with that with my kids. Absolutely. But they will probably run up to you and ask you, if you're the new teacher, are you Mrs. West? Are you going to be with us now? Where are you from? How long are you going to be here? This is your chance to go. We'll talk about that now. Time to line up and listen to the teacher ready to go inside. Do it straight away. Don't engage in those conversations right then and there unless your mentor teacher has said, yeah, let's take the kids for a chat or whatever. This is your chance to get in and start now. Start that behavior management right away. So go into the classroom, morning routine will happen, and hopefully the mentor teacher has told you what this will be in some capacity. So kids might go in and sit down to do the role. They might go in and tap the role themselves and start silent reading. Either way, you can still use the exact same instructions regardless of what's going on. If the kids are still hovering around you and dilly-dallying about and not getting into the classroom, you can say, time to go in and do your morning routine. Time to go in. What does the teacher ask you to do? What are you supposed to be doing right now? Get in, shoo them in, and then put yourself in a spot in the classroom where you can observe what's going to happen. And this is your chance to see what the kids' behavior is. If they're seated in a particular way, are they in rows? Are they in a group? Are they allowed to sit wherever they want? And you can pay attention to how they're interacting straight away, first thing in the morning in the classroom. Now, if you've taken a notebook with you, which I highly recommend doing, just note a few things down. Students sitting in rows, or students go straight to their tables, students changing home readers. You know, how does the teacher do the role? Does the teacher say good morning to every single student? Does this teacher say good morning to the class? Do they do a song? What is it? Is it on YouTube? And just generally see how they engage with their environment. And then this is where you'll start to see the routine of the day progressing. So just note down, is it English? Is it maths? Is it groups? Is there a support person coming in? These little things that you can note down so that you can just start to familiarize yourself with the routine, because this is going to happen hard and fast. And when you get home that night, you're going to be like, oh, what time did that person come in again? Was it English? Were they doing reading groups or spelling? Just note it down really quickly on your notebook, and then you'll be able to get a gauge for that. If you've got a bit of a template of a weekly plan, or at least the day, sectioned into segments, 9 till 10 a.m, 10 till 11 a.m, lunch, recess, whatever, you can note it down that way nice and easy. Hopefully though, the mentor teacher is giving you a timetable ahead and you're kind of prepared for what's coming. Now, the kids' names that you're going to learn really, really easy are usually the kids that are the difficult ones. Any behavior ones, you'll notice it straight away. They'll have their hands up first. They'll be talking to you first. They'll be calling out. They'll want to come and avoid work by talking to you instead. Direct them back to what they should be doing. Constantly direct them back to what they should be doing. Participate, assist, but always direct them back to what they should be doing. They can have those conversations with you during eating time. You want to learn more about me? Let's do that at eating time. What writing are you meant to be doing right now? So just keep bringing it back to what the classroom teacher is doing. Remember, when you're going into this room, this is kind of like a home when you're going into someone else's classroom space like that. However, you're welcome in there. Like any other family member or a new family member, I guess it's kind of like the new boyfriend that you bring home. You want them to be part of that environment, but they're still not comfortable enough to kind of put their feet up on the coffee table. So you're going in, starting to settle into that environment. Become part of the environment, and then you'll be able to sort of expand on it when it gets time to you running lessons and doing different things. Okay, I'm just looking down at my notes now, so I'm not missing anything. When you're in there as well, you'll be able to see where the class jobs are, if there's a schedule or routine. So the teacher may have up some kind of visual schedule for the day. If there's students with particular needs, you might see that they've got different tables or workspaces. If there's class rules up there, or school rules, or which one they use, or if there's a timeout table or procedure that's up there, just, you know, walk around and familiarize yourself with that, because if it comes up, you can say to the other teacher, oh, miss, can that person have a point? Or, you know, this person's off task, are they meant to be doing something else? There could be teachers team teaching. They might join up with another class. This is your chance to embrace that other environment. If you get the chance to be with 2 teachers, then that really extends your opportunities there. Just have a gauge on that classroom environment. Do they have names on their desks, or do they have flexible seating arrangements? If they've got names on desks, that's a chance for you to walk around and sort of learn their names. Try not to distract them by asking them about their names or anything. Just note it to yourself. If it's a flexible learning space, then you might want to ask them their name before working with them, just to help foster that relationship building straight away. Do they have indoor, outdoor? You'll see that when lessons transition, the teacher will have certain things in place. So they might count down, they might have a timer. The teacher just might have a sound that goes off. She may count them down. I always count down, and it's usually 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, time's up, pack up. You have, you know, 30 seconds to get to the floor. So monitor that, note it down if you need to, because if you can keep consistent with what that teacher is already doing, it will be so much easier when it comes time to you actually facilitating lesson implementation, by just following that routine. It might not be something that you like or that you agree with, but if you follow it, the kids are used to it, which means that your classroom management is just that bit more refined when it comes time to doing that. And then when you get to do sessions and things like that, you can kind of expand on it a bit differently and then get feedback from your mentor. So first break time, our school does lunch. Some schools do recess. Either way, there's a break there. Kids eat and play. Now this is where you'll need to ask the mentor what the expectation is. If the mentor teacher has a duty, I recommend going on the duty with them and seeing what that's like and being part of that experience properly. Asking about, you know, out of bounds. Do they have medical kits? You know, do they have playground monitors or anything like that? If they don't, if you've got the chance to go and have lunch and they say, no, we're just going up to the staff room, I just like to eat and have lunch up there, this is your chance to talk to some other teachers up there. However, maybe not bombard teachers with a bunch of questions at lunch, because chances are this is their break time. If they're engaging in that conversation with you, absolutely go for it. Just see what's going on in the staff room and see who's doing what, and this is your chance to overhear how teachers kind of organize and collaborate over food. It's a great way to do it. I'm just going through some other things. Okay, so at the end of that time, the bell goes, it's time to go back to class. This is where you'll find out if the kids have a certain spot to line up, if they just go straight back to the classroom, and what is the routine for coming back into the classroom. How does that teacher calm them back down from being outside and running around and get them into the next step? So pay attention to the behavior management that the teacher is using them to get them in, getting them settled. Are they sitting on the floor? Are they at their tables? Are they having silent reading? Are they playing a game? Keep an eye on that routine. And then it'll be the next session, whatever lesson it is, and you'll be able to make specific observations depending on the lesson. Then there should be another break time. Again, it's either recess or lunch. You know, if it's lunchtime, find out how do kids go to the canteen? What's the rules around it? You know, is it no hat, no play in particular areas? Is it, you know, infants, kids on one play area and primary kids on another? This is your chance to ask those questions. And again, go up to the office if you can, go on playground duty if you're meant to, have that break time. Please make sure you go to the toilet. Please, please, please go to the toilet at some point in these breaks, because this is the only time you'll get to do it for the rest of your life. Enjoy. And then again, we come back to class. Now, this is the time when most teachers will put something in place to really bring the energy levels down, because they've had 2 breaks now, and especially in summer when it gets really, really hot, kids come back tired and just over annoyed with each other, or if there's been a problem on the playground and there's a couple of kids fighting, how does that management work? Bringing them back into the classroom, getting them calmed down, getting them onto task for whatever the next session might be. And your afternoons are usually filled with your other KLAs, science, geography, history, art, PDHPE, and you know, sometimes there's English or maths in the afternoon. It just depends on the schedule that they've got and what's going on. So just pay attention to that management so that you can follow that as it's going through. And this is when you will run out the clock. This session usually goes the fastest in any school that I've been because it's the afternoon. Very much so hands-on or messy activities. If you're doing a science experiment or if you're painting, you need to get things set up, usually during that break time. And you need to be able to pack things away and send kids home neat and tidy at the end of the day. You don't want parents rocking up at 3 o'clock and the room is just a bomb of glitter. So just keep an eye on how the teacher monitors the time, how they break up that lesson, and if they break up kids into groups for whatever it is that they're doing. They may move, go to the library, go to the computer room, so just pay attention to that. Okay, at the end of the day, this is your chance to meet parents, be with the teacher, say goodbye to the kids, tell them that you'll see them tomorrow or the next week, whenever it might be. They'll be very excited to see you again, and they're going to go home and they're going to say, we had a new teacher in the classroom today. So be prepared to have that, because they'll do it in front of you as well. They'll talk to the parents right in front of you and say, this is our new teacher, she's learning to be a teacher. So nice to meet you. Yes, I'm Mrs. West. It's my first year at uni, or it's my 4th year at uni, or whatever. Don't be afraid to talk to the parents. They'll welcome it. They'll want to know who this stranger is in their classroom with their children. So take the chance to talk about that. Obviously, when you're talking to parents, you don't talk to them about other kids, other people's kids. That's none of their business. If they want to talk about other people's kids, refer them to the teacher. That's the teacher's issue. If they want to talk about their child's, yeah, I had a great day. We did painting together. It was really, really nice. If there were any kind of behavior issues or concerns, leave that for the teacher to have that discussion. You don't know what the history is with that child necessarily. You don't know what the procedure is necessarily in terms of that child. And if it comes up, just say, oh, I'll let you talk to whatever the mentor teacher's name is about that one, because I'm new. And that's it. That's your excuse. I'm new. I'm a Prac student. That's fine. It's not a problem. That expectation shouldn't be there, that you should have that history and know everything about what's going on with it. Just looking at my notes again. Just be prepared at the end of the day. This is a great chance for teachers to debrief, and they will. They'll come and have a chat. They'll ask you how your day went. Be honest, if you have any questions, it's not a concern. If you know, had a bit of a shock of a day, things you weren't expecting, be honest about it so that, you know, those teachers can support you and be prepared for that. You might hear some other teachers just verbal diarrhea about the crap day that they had. It's very important not to necessarily judge that teacher, especially if you don't know them, you don't know what kind of day they had. Sometimes we just need to get it out. Sometimes we just need to say, God, that was a crap day. And then we're fine. Then we can go back and debrief and reflect on what we did and figure out a way to improve the next day. Some will come over and just tell you about the awesome stuff that happened today. This kid did this, because we love to share those celebratory moments. It's wonderful to be able to share those things, because we get into our room, and depending on what's going on, some days you can get into a bubble where you don't have contact with anyone else. Sometimes from 8:30 to 3:30 straight, you are in that room non-stop with your kids without a break. You really need to wee at 3:30, and it's just all built up. So it's important to have that debrief in the afternoon. Depending on what time of day the school finishes, I think it's important that you stay behind, help pack up the room, ask your mentor if they have any feedback about how the day went, if they have any expectations about when you visit next, and you need to tell them as well if you're supposed to be doing anything in particular for the next visit, so they're prepared. I think I've gone through all of those points. What I will share with you before I wrap up is I'm going to put some links in the description below to a few pages that have Prac teaching survival tips. So this is from New South Wales Teachers Federation, and you can access this online even if you're not a member, even if you're not in New South Wales. And there's this page which I will link. It's kind of looks like this. That's what it looked like when I printed it from the website. So just some things there. They also have another section that's called the Prac Teaching Guide, and that's the front page, but all of these things open up into sections with lots more information. So it's got things like no-go zones, prac teaching survival tips, lesson preparation, problems on prac teaching, legal stuff, beginning teacher myths. And it's good information. I highly recommend becoming a member, which you can as a student, and it's cheaper. And then I'm going to link this little article from The Guardian for you as well that just had some basic tips as well. So you can have a bit of reading time for that too. So hopefully that's helped you prepare for the first day on Prac. The next video I was planning on doing is looking at who's who in a school. So all of those roles and responsibilities and all the different people that you could engage with and hopefully utilize as a mechanism to, you know, source resources or support or expertise when you're in a school. So hopefully that's helped you guys. If you've got any additional tips for being on the first day on the job on Prac, I'd love you to put them in the comments below, whether you're a mentor, teacher, or a Prackie who's had the experience. Please share them so that other people have the benefit of your wisdom. I'm going to put my button down below, so if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you can hover over that and click to subscribe. If this video was beneficial, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. Feedback is always good, and I'll chuck one of my other videos at the top there, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Normal videos on the weekend and pre-service teacher videos midweek, Wednesday, Thursdays. Bye!